Hey YouTube, what's up? This is Jake, aka Lunar Wolf. Today we got a slightly different video from my normal guide ones. As you can see here on the screen, we've actually got a bit of a preview of this next season of Conqueror's Blade. Now, this next season, there's been a lot of speculation about it. There's been some assets that have been in the game for a while that people have data mined for quite some time. But now we have the actual confirmations. So this season is called Dynasty, and it's based honestly off of the historical Tang Dynasty. They actually jump into it a little bit here on their preview for it. Now, the Tang Dynasty was a long-rolling dynasty in China historically, 300 years roughly. About 289 was the actual rule. But like they say here, it did in fact bring cultural and cosmopolitan golden age to China during that time. So I'm very excited to see that. It's been a while since we've been back east in Conqueror's Blade, and honestly, I'm excited to go back. I did really like some of those maps, the areas down there. I hope they reopen up Liangyun and Maoyang, but I believe that we're supposed to get a new area in this patch. We'll see though. So, as we scroll through this document a bit more, we can see some of the initial information here coming out. Firstly, what we see right here is a new class. Now, there's been a lot of speculation about what exactly this new class was for quite some time, and we've honestly seen leaks of a potential Pike class style for maybe two seasons plus. What's really interesting about this, though, is they're finally implementing something in here. We've seen some leaks for a bow and blade class as well, so that might be something that they have in the works for a later patch, maybe another 2 or 3 seasons down the road. But this Pike, I'm actually pretty excited for. If the speculation is what I'm feeling it is, or honestly my own personal speculation here, is that this is going to be a light armor class. I'm not 100% on that. I have a very strong feeling that it is because we are lacking more melee in the light armor area. We only have dual blades there right now. This would make sense for a light armor Pike class that's basically meant for clearing out units, giving a ton of CC, something like that. We'll see. There's actually a few leaked move sets that could potentially be that, or an early version of the spear, but who knows. Now, this Pike here, while they call it a Pike, from what I would understand there, it might be what we would consider a Qiang and a Chinese-style spear. It's not rigid like your typical spears. It would actually be a bit more flexible. We can actually see a little bit of that in the weapon leaks there once we get into that. Now, here's something interesting. They've announced all of the units. Now we're getting 3 seasonal units plus an actual skill tree or unit tree unlock for a unit, which has been quite some time since we've had something new on that unit tree there that we can use pure honor to grow. I know I've got a lot of honor bank, and I'm sure a ton of you have it too. So what's interesting here is in these 3 seasonal units, we've got these cudgel monks, which I believe is what this artwork here is implying. If it is exactly like the monk there's been some speculation that it's going to be a very low armor but high crowd control oriented type of unit, if you will. I'm interested to see what they will actually do with that, and if we actually have a bow staff unit, that would be pretty fun to just go in there and constantly knock around heroes and units alike. Now, next we have the Gray Hair Garrison. The Gray Hair Garrison, I haven't really seen too much on it, honestly, and I'm not entirely sure exactly what that'll be associated with. They're saying weathered yet doggedly determined veterans of a doomed siege. That gives me no indication of what type of unit that is, but they've changed things up to actually give us 4 units, but one is just a general unlockable. So the Modal Battalion here, a disciplined and elite force deployed often as first wave attackers. I'm wondering if it's related to one of these units up here. This might be a glaive unit, the Modal Battalion. Because if we zoom in here a bit more here. Okay, so if we zoom in there a bit, it's a little bit harder for you to probably see than what I'm seeing here. But these look like the unit attire, and that looks like the Season Pass hero attire, most likely. But if these are the two units, then these are a kind of glaive, polearm type of unit, I would speculate. So that might be what the Modal Battalion is. So that'll be interesting to see. Maybe it'll be a kind of like the Silidars, but better. The Silidars, while they were good for that one season, they just weren't. They got overshadowed by a ton of the other ones. Now this one, I'm actually interested in. Or greatly interested in. The Shenji Grenadiers. This is something that I actually read about before, historically, when I was just kind of trying to do a deep dive into what the Tang Dynasty was doing. And these were gunners. The Shenji Grenadiers are probably related mainly to the Shenji Ying here from history, from the Ming Dynasty. They carried muskets. They're probably going to follow suit with the Imperial Arquebusier. Hopefully I said that right. Unit on the skill tree there. So jumping back over, there's going to be a new map as well. Call it Linwu Fortress. That'll be interesting to see. I hope this concept art actually showcases something similar. Maybe it's like a half rundown type of old fort that has very solid defenses. Kind of like when Regionopolis was first introduced in the game. I really want to see a good, strong, hard to conquer map. It'll be interesting though. It's a smaller map with a 10v10 instead of your typical 15v15. I wonder if they're going to add any new like artillery or anything kind of somewhat unique. Like with Regionopolis, there was the Great Bombard that was added. I wonder if they're going to do something different here. Now, like every other season, there's a battle pass with a premium track and a standard track. The standard track, of course, gives you far fewer rewards. The premium track is about $10 typically, and it gives you skins and other rewards and stuff for the seasonal store. It'll be interesting to see what they come up with there. But this is actually another part that I'm incredibly happy about. Is I greatly enjoyed the rune system. So a lot of the classes in Conqueror's Blade have been pretty poorly balanced, to be honest. Longbow got nerfed to hell, and it's very difficult to play as right now unless you are just really keyed in on all of your shots and you can get your stamina drain mitigated and so on and so forth. But the runes really gave every class kind of a way to shake up the meta. Like, for example, Poleaxe, nobody really ever used Weapon Dance, but because of the rune giving you instant healing and then healing, and everybody uses it now as Poleaxe, which is nice because it shakes up the meta than what you typically would find, and it helps you rebalance and rework different ways and play styles. Now, I don't know if the exact same runes are going to be available there. I'm sure that they're going to try and tweak them and change them around a bit. Maybe some of the legendary ones will be different, but I like that there are the runes again. Sacred relics in this one. That'll be good. So far though, in this, they have not mentioned anything else. Typically they do this type of stuff piecemeal. They give you a little bit of information here, and then down the road they give you a spotlight trailer on units or the fort or siege map, or maybe even the new land. I really do hope that there is in fact a out there, because that would be awesome. Now let's take a look at some of the potential leaks, see how well they stack up here. So firstly, this is apparently a leaked screenshot of the test of what these new Shenji Grenadiers will look like. They look very similar to the Imperial Arquebusiers. So we'll see if that's actually what they look like, and then break down into their veterancy skills once we get more information on that. This is We're still not sure if this is specifically for the Pike class in terms of some of these skills. I have no idea what any of these would actually do, or what they, what types of damage it'll be, what armor, anything like that. This is just some data mined information that people had found. Let's take a look at some of the weapon leaks. So this almost looks like an old version of the spear. Let me replay that again. But there are some slight differences. So maybe this is actually information coming from the Pike class. This next one is actually kind of crazy here. So, do you see that? Do you see how many knockdowns that had? That was a lot. That was crazy. Let's go back and see here. So you might get some type of armor buff because it looks to be like a little glowing around you. So maybe you get some CC mitigation or an armor buff as you do this. But you are looking like this is meant to go and break through shield walls. So you're just bashing around, knocking people down. So he's already down on the ground there, right? And then the moment he gets up and you turn around and finish that, I feel like it's almost a knockdown on every single one of those hits. That's a good, like, seconds worth of CC there, which is going to be rough. That kind of wraps up the biggest portion of the new look here, but I wanted to do something else in this kind of talking head style video, which is different than things that I've done before. Is I want to actually jump over into, let's jump into Conqueror's Blade. I want to tell you guys how seasons work. Some new people might have some questions. Some people might not understand exactly what happens on the reset of a season. So let's take a look at that. So this is the most updated, most recent season here. We are at its end, and you'll see if you've played before, there are a lot of very stark differences. But let's start off with the Battle Pass. So at each season, like I said, there is the Battle Pass, and then there is the basic rewards here. So you pay $10 for premium, and you get all stuff on both things. So typically, it's mainly 100 levels, and then if you get all the way up to 300, you get some type of title there where it's, sure, it's worth it, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But typically, you come right out with increased glory earns, some hero skins, and as you go through, you get different types of rewards with banners, emotes, honor, these blades, which they didn't transfer over last season, and I'm unsure if they will this season, so they tend to kind of reset that each season. But you can see that there's just, tons and tons of rewards here in Season Pass. And you can use these blades eventually over here on the seasonal store to get different types of armor skins. You typically, if you level up through the Battle Pass, you will get one free weapon skin. And then you can use your blades to get other things here or some of this legacy stuff. So something that they've been doing recently is they're doing this legacy approach where they take and slightly rework previous skins from other seasons here. So this is from Season 3. This is actually the season that I started the game, and they have a little bit left over from Season 2. But the main thing here are the Season 3 unit attires and Battle Pass attires. So one of the other things that you have in your Battle Pass to know the full duration, or well, in the season, is you have weekly challenges. There's roughly about 12 weeks per season, but typically you complete different things each week and you'll get temporary doctrines or solid normal doctrines. I think these ones were temporary. I don't know if they're going to do that. But you also get glory for doing different types of these challenges. They're not very difficult, and you can reset the challenges. You can reset a total of 2 times, so you can take 2 of these challenges and reset it to a different one if you really don't like the way that one is going. Another thing here is campaigns. So this is how you track the progress as the season goes on. So this is mainly for territory war and endgame. You start off, everyone's just fighting over wars in the first lands here, and then a new area would typically open up for somebody to go and do attack, and then they continue on with normal attacking. It really, these first 3 are basically the same. When you get to the end of the season here, these last 2, the Usurped Thrones and Imperial Dawn, which is typically the naming conventions that they use, that's when you can take on the capitals. And those are the huge ones. Big alliances always fight over in the different regions. Finally, it all ends with the 3 capitals, and then everything locks down for the end of the season, and you get your seasonal rewards. Something that has been apparent in just about all of the seasons are these unit challenges. And this is typically how you will get the new unit. So you start off typically with the lowest one, and then there's a locked amount of time between here, because you can buy these with sovereigns. However, they do lock down for like the first couple of days. You can't get the 2nd tier, and then you can't get the 3rd tier for way down. This is how you get the new units. And you typically get them fairly early, and then some buffs to them, like a doctrine, or now as avatars for your profile here. But you can see that the challenges do get progressively harder and center around actually utilizing the units once you have them unlocked. It's great to get a ton of the stuff, because you get a ton of experience medals here, which are good for leveling up these units. I think effectively, when I first got the Shield Maidens and I applied all of the unit medals to them that I got from all the way up their line to when I unlocked them fully, they were about halfway completed, so I only had to level the back half. Typically, too, one thing that you'll notice is the units for that season will actually have a reduced leadership cost and a reduced resupply cost. So keep that in mind when you're running through, because they really want you to use these in that season. That's what they kind of build the meta around. Now, in previous seasons, we've actually seen some extra challenges on here. So for example, Season 3 was the last time that they introduced a new class, and that was Maul. So if I swap over to it, you'll notice that you have your 3 different units. We actually had 4 units in that season. That was a big season. 4 units, 2 ranged tier 5 units, and 2... well, actually, one of these units became a staple for Territory Wars. But then you also had the Maul. So this is unlocking the first groups of skills. Instead of going how you would normally unlock the skills, you would unlock them this way. Completing the same types of unit challenges. I can't show you the old unit challenges because they're already done, but you complete the same types of challenges, and then this was getting you the ultimates, and it unlocks all the skills, and you're ready to go. I'm assuming that is exactly how the Pike class will be. However, it is pure speculation right now, so keep that in mind for next season. 2 things that Season 7 added that will most likely continue on over into Season 8 is these seasonal runes and the attire challenges. This was actually a very late addition. There's only about a day or so left. This is just to get some little extra stuff. I don't know if they're going to do that halfway through the season next season, or if they're going to start it from the beginning here. But seasonal runes is another thing too. I talked about this earlier for the Season 8 speculation. This is going to stay. They're probably going to be different, but these are going to stay as a mechanic in the upcoming seasons, which I think is honestly great. I think it really does help to balance out and unlock and change the meta as the season goes on. So that's pretty much the wrap up there for how seasons work. One thing to know, again, you see this level here? The only thing that will ever get reset from season to season is not your character level, not your skills, not anything like that. It's just purely your season level will go back down to 0, and you have to go and rank up the season level again. Everything else stays the same. None of your progress through this season will get reset. It's I know a lot of people have had that type of question, newer players in general, but I just want to assure you that that is not the case here. Hey guys, one quick thing before I let this video go. I forgot to add this before I started editing the video. Don't be scared when the next season starts and you see that you have the option to pick which region that you want to start out in. This is common, this is normal. Just figure out where your house is going beforehand, and then go ahead and take that same region to start off in. Your house should, on Discord or through whatever means of messaging you guys use to typically get together, they'll let you know, so follow your house leadership on that. If you don't have a house and you're in the cohorts, or you just are running houseless, feel free to pick any land. Typically, most people will go towards the newest spot too, so if you want to have good competition and good banter, I would suggest doing that. Thanks again, and back to the video. So with this quick kind of impromptu video. It was pretty well unscripted. I was just kind of talking at you here a bit. I just want you to understand what to expect for the next season. We've got some early speculation, kind of quell some of your fears and answer some questions that you might have had. And yeah, I mean, thanks for stopping by. If you like this content and this type of stuff, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really does help me out here. I'm trying to get towards the content creator there so I can create drops and do giveaways and things like that for you guys to help build this community. So please subscribe to my YouTube. And also, if you want to see me just running through some stuff live and ask me some questions, hop on over to my Twitch stream. I stream every Monday and Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and every other Sunday, roughly, depending, at about 1 p.m. I play a variety of games. I do mainly play Conqueror's Blade, but stop on by if you happen to see me online. Well, thanks again, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.